This walkabout starts at Preston railway station en route to Winckley Square. This is a former Fishergate Baptist church in Fishergate, Preston. It was an active Baptist church for more than 150 years. This Grade II listed building was built in 1857-58 to design by James Hibbert and Nathan Rainford. St Wilfrid's Church is a Roman Catholic church run by the Society of Jesus in the city centre of Preston, Lancashire. It was built in 1793 and is situated between Fishergate and Winckley Square on Chapel Street. So this is St Wilfrid's Church on Chapel Street, just heading down towards Winckley Square, which is down there. Just got to have a look at the church itself. The church is dedicated to Wilfrid, circa 633 and circa 709, an English bishop and saint. He founded a monastic community in Ripon and was Bishop of Northumbria from 664 to 668. St Wilfrid must have had a particular devotion in Preston because the original parish church, the present day St John's Minster, was originally called St Wilfrid's. However, it changed its dedication to St John the Baptist in 1581 and again to St John the Evangelist in 1770, meaning that when St Wilfrid's Church was built in 1793, there was no confusion between the two. I've attended funerals here in my past job when I was working for funeral directors. It's a lovely church inside. This carving is called the Hidden Life carving. Father Blackledge commissioned the Durham-based Christian sculptor Fenwick Lawson to express the pain and suffering undergone by couples who had lost a child in the womb or at birth or in infancy. The sculpture of St Wilfrid was carved from elm by the internationally renowned sculptor Dr. Fenwick Lawson, ARCA. A cosmopolitan churchman, a notable missionary, and a great defender of papal authority, Wilfrid, despite many setbacks, succeeded in bringing England into closer touch with Rome and in replacing the existing Celtic usages in the north of England by the Roman liturgy and Celtic by the Benedictine monasticism. This building here is what remains of the Preston Catholic College. The site of the Catholic College is all that site there. So on the corner of Winckley Square and Chapel Street. At the top end is Fishergate in the town centre. The college began in 1865 in a house in Mount Pleasant, which was a narrow passage between Winckley Square and Mount Street. In 1879 it moved to 29 Winckley Square and expanded over the next century until at its peak of 915 pupils in 1970. It also occupied the whole of the west side of the square from the northwest corner. And this is a view of Winckley Square itself. So I remember as a young lad, 16, 17, first met Jenny, who's now my wife. Been married 56 years this year, and every lunchtime we used to meet Jenny. She worked in Glover's Court, which is over in that direction, as a trainee apprentice hairdresser, and I used to work in a food wholesalers, and so we'd arranged to meet up in town and we'd have a walk round the Winckley Square here where we are now and sit on the bench and just have a good chat like you do when you're courting. Looking back at the Chapel Street entrance where I was before, just panning round, used to be, well, they're all office buildings of course, but there's like a Victorian feel to the buildings that are around here. Lots of history in this area. And just right in the background you can just see the Preston railway station. I'm going to look around, and up in that direction there that's where Jenny used to walk from Glover's Court, which is at the top of there. Sir Robert Peel, 1788 to 1850, was a major 19th century British Conservative statesman who served twice as Prime Minister, 1834 to 1835 and 1841 to 1846, and is renowned as the father of modern policing for founding the Metropolitan Police Service, the Bobbies or Peelers, in 1829. As a coup reformer, he repealed the Corn Laws in 1846, causing a party split but establishing free trade. A nice little quiet haven of peace in the city centre. All the office workers, I would imagine even nowadays, come in here, sit down, have their lunch when it's not bitterly cold like it is today. I mean, it is the 24th of January, so there has to be a bit of leeway, hasn't there? So again, another shot of Winckley Square. So this is Winckley Square, looking at it from the south. Preston city centre is right over in the background there. In 1875, nuns of the Roman Catholic Society of the Holy Child Jesus bought 23 Winckley Square, the former home of Thomas Batty Addison, and opened a school for young women. By 1962, the convent school reached a peak of 850 pupils. John Clare, born 1796, died 1858, was an English cleric and prison chaplain. His reporting on inmates of the prison at Preston, Lancashire, made him a national figure. In my previous video about Miller Park, Avenham Park, and I spoke about the Park Hotel, the Victorian building, which is now in disrepair. I would say disrepute, that's not the right word. In disrepair. So I'm at the back of the hotel, and it looks worse than what it does. So what you got here is just an alternative view of the railway station, and there's the main lines leading out west, east, north is the other direction there. Now this looks like an interesting building. There's no plaque to say what it used to be, but look at the old chimney stacks and the chimney tops. Very interesting. I'll have to see if I can find out what what the building used to be. So up there's a plate. I'll see if I can read it anyway. MD. Looks like CCCXLV. Obviously Roman numerals for the dates. I'll try and find out what that signifies, what year that signifies. It'll all come out in the post edit, I'm sure. Following on from that video I did again of Edmund Park Mill Park, you might recognise the slope looking down onto the Japanese gardens there. But if you walk up the slope now and then carry on walking, and you come to Ribblesdale Place, and then the beginnings of Winckley Square. So Winckley Square is just there on the right. This house here in front of us, there's a blue plaque on the wall, so I've taken the photograph and got the information. But it was the home of Robert Harris. All will be explained in post edit. I keep saying that, but I just don't. Here's a shady looking character. Wonder what he's up to. I thought that this was a good idea. It laid on the floor in a circular pattern are the names of the residents. It also shows the date that they lived there and also the profession that they held. For instance, James Bond, before he became 007, looks like he was a gardener.